Well, since it was predicted long ago in the movie Metropolis that robots and AI would slowly be taking over the world in 2026, and sure, I haven't seen that movie because do I look like the kind of person that watches a lot of films? Obviously not. But despite that, I guess it would make sense that the first movie I would have to talk about for 2026 would involve robots. So we begin in a world inhabited by robots, as we see this robot called Herb running through the town, cheering that he's going to become a father. But once he arrives at home, it turns out that babies are literally assembled piece by piece in this movie's universe.
You did want a boy, right? This won't hurt a bit, son.
Please never do that again? Ever? Please? Thank you. Jump forward a couple years later and we see our main character, Rodney, a young robot who aspires to become an inventor like his idol Big Weld, played by Mel Brooks. Oh great, Mel Brooks, the director of the incredibly problematic film Blazing Saddles. Okay, I know a lot of people would say that his involvement with this film would be a plus, but I happen to disagree, because I have no sense of humor. It's here where they show as robots get older, the more reliant they become on upgrades.
These are your 12-year-old parts. They're
hand-me-downs. I know, Dad.
Oh, that part is definitely true. It's not always going through robo-puberty and having to go through those upgrades. Though, if I remember correctly, I think some of the upgrades that Jenny went through were, a little bit wonkier when it came to results.
I think I'll be the coolest looking teenager ever!
So in this world of robots, not only are upgrades a metaphor for puberty, but they are being bought and sold for incredibly high prices to the general populace? Well gee, do you think this could apply to this film's incredibly clever anti-capitalist themes? Because if so, I would have to say that's incredibly ahead of its time and progressive, and hashtag woke of them.
They are from your cousin, Veronica.
You know how popular she is.
Surprisingly progressive and ahead of its time take on gender norms. You know what, movie? You get a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for that, because my opinion just matters so much more than everybody else's when it comes to stuff like this. As a young adult, Rodney is now played by Ewan MacDonald, a Scottish actor doing an American accent. I would typically complain about this kind of thing, but non-Americans playing American roles are totally fine with me because as Americans, we are incredibly privileged, and so if someone who's not American wants to play an American character and do an American accent, that is totally fine.
I want to be an inventor. I want to meet Big Weld. I want to be somebody. You have been named!
Noticing his father getting older, not being able to afford upgrades, and having to rely on duct tape instead, Rodney decides to make his first big invention be Wonderbot, a miniature robot that specializes in kitchen cleaning.
He is also there for comic relief. It is a 2000s kids movie. They all have them. Also, if you think about it, it's like most modern inventions. Rodney made a device that could potentially take his father's job.
After the invention testing doesn't go well and the copper bottoms are yelled at by this greedy capitalist boss character who is a literal cash register, Rodney decides it's time to go to Robot City to pitch his inventions to Big Weld. And yes, the name of the city in this movie is Robot City, because clearly in this world we have places like Human Town and Peopleville, right? That's not redundant or anything. What's next? Are you going to create a supermarket and call it Market-Tropolis Market? Here we get the usual animated movie scene of a bunch of gags, immediately followed by a scene that solely exists to show off the animation.
Again, this is a pretty common practice with animated movies, especially at the time. This was Blue Sky Animation's second theatrical movie, so 20th Century Fox put a lot of pressure on them, which resulted in a ton of scenes being scrapped and replaced with scenes to highlight their animation. This even resulted in a hashtag to release a director's cut.
Whoa, 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 shut up, shut up, shut up. Are you telling me that Blue Sky made this movie? Blue Sky did animated films before they moved on to being a social media platform?
That was what you took away from all that?
Wow, I can't believe it. Blue Sky did movies long before they became the best social media platform since Tumblr. Oh, I'm slowly loving this movie more and more.
It's a different Blue Sky, my dude. This one came before the app.
So after a bunch of pretty colors and movement that I was not paying attention to because I was busy doom scrolling on my phone, as well as the introduction of the breakout character Fender, played by the late Robin Williams, Rodney makes it to Bigwell's building. But he isn't exactly given the warm welcome as he comes across this fascist doorman played by Paul Giamatti.
Sorry, kid, nobody gets in. Company rules.
Well, then how do they hire new inventors?
They don't. Those days are over. My advice, come back 2 years ago, then the job is yours.
As we find out, Bigweld is no longer working for the company and has been replaced by this evil businessman villain for the film, Ratchet, played by Greg Kinnear. He is a heartless, business-obsessed robot male who even makes creeper remarks towards the robot female, Cappy, played by Halle Berry.
I'm moving you into the office right next to mine. We'll be working very, very closely together on this one. Won't that be fun?
Oodles.
Well, good thing this movie was made by Blue Sky. Because of Blue Sky, it makes it so much easier to share 8-hour-long video documentaries and Google Docs that reveal guys like this to be some kind of human trash sex predator. But since Ratchet wants to switch the company's business model over to upgrades as opposed to funding new inventions, Rodney is booted from the place after he tries to make it over the wall. Typical rich elites putting down the little guy. After temporarily getting magnetized and getting another scene meant to show off the animation, Rodney gets knocked out in a barrel in a lower part of the city. Here is where we come across our second main villain, Ratchet's mother, Madame Gasket, played by Jim Broadbent, who runs an underground chop shop where they round up spare parts and convert them into overpriced upgrades. But more on these two later. Back with Rodney, he wakes up and is reintroduced to that Fender character from earlier.
This results in another scene to show off the animation quality, and you know what? Despite lacking in story, these scenes do look pretty good for 2005 quality. So, if these scenes do one thing correctly, they do look good, even after all these years.
After the two fight over a foot and Fender literally loses his head, we see the rest of these bot characters, including more celebrity voices, including Drew Carey, Harlan Williams, and even Amanda Bynes as Fender's sister Piper. These lovable underdogs are just trying to get by in an ever-changing world that slowly negates spare parts and recycling and replacing them with overpriced upgrades. But it seems things will start to look up since Rodney is pretty well equipped with his inventor expertise. But for now, it's time to head off to their home, which is run by a sweet old lady bot called Aunt Fanny.
You sure your aunt won't mind?
Relax, she's not my aunt.
And why is she called Aunt Fanny?
Couldn't call her Aunt Booty.
Meanwhile in England, that nickname takes on a whole other connotation.
If you burden your friends, soon you won't have any.
What are you, a fortune cookie? That's what friends... You consider me a friend?
Sure, what else would I consider you?
Okay, well, pretty good character development so far.
Fender.
Yeah, baby. Let it rip.
And now armpit farts. Classy. I expect so much better from animated children's films from the 2000s. All the bots in town who can't afford upgrades begin turning to Rodney, who can fix them for no charge. But the evil businessman and his mother don't like this at all, as it throws a monkey wrench into their plans. Pun! As the number of bots who need fixings begin piling up, and even Rodney's dad's health starts waning, the gang decide they need to get Bigweld back to set things right. Rodney and Fender sneak into an exclusive top 1% elitist party, and just as it seems Rodney is going to be taken away by security, Cappy helps him escape. The two make it to where Bigweld is being held.
Remember? He used to have these on his show. Why are they so dusty?
Wait, don't!
Wait, hold on. So, you're telling me Bigweld wasn't being held captive or anything? He was just preoccupied with dominoes, while the rest of the world outside was becoming an anarcho-capitalist hellscape?
Come on, let's set him up again, only bigger.
Sir, is this what you've been working on?
You know, I would say he has a screw loose, but that is incredibly insensitive to machinery that are not 100% fine-tuned, okay? So I'm not going to say an incredibly ableist line like that, but shame on you for assuming that I would. Meanwhile, Fender ends up getting taken to the chop shop and uncovering the truth as to who's running the show exactly. Again, surprisingly progressive and ahead of its time take on gender norms. Very cool movie. Very cool. Very cool. Hashtag very cool. Disappointed in his hero, and with Bigweld just plain giving up, Rodney decides to go home, utterly defeated. It's here where the rest of the bots show up to see him off.
Rounding up outmodes and taking them. What them? Us! To Madame Gasket's chop-chop! And guess who's really behind it all?
Ratchet.
And just as Rodney begins to get second thoughts on leaving, Bigweld shows up, having a change of heart and ready to set things right. Yeah, it just kind of happens. He just kind of shows up out of nowhere. Complete 180.
Hey, who's the dame with the sweet keister?
But why?
I don't know. I'm a big guy and I like women with large...
No.
Oh, Mel Brooks. You funny, funny man. So things finally kick up a notch. Bigweld confronts Ratchet in his office, Ratchet knocks him out, Rodney manages to fix Bigweld as they roll through the streets of the city, being chased after by the bad guys and the other sidekick bots. Ultimately it ends at the chop shop, with good guys going up against bad guys.
Did I miss the bot whooping?
No?
Let's get started!
Do you think the writers of Avengers Endgame saw this movie and got ideas?
After everybody gets a little something to do in this fight scene, they defeat the bad guys by flinging Madame Gasket into her own incinerator. She's dead. The day is saved. Rodney is now working with Bigweld, and he promises to fix up Rodney's father. With that, let's end with yet another kids movie hallmark, an extended song and dance number with copyrighted music that will definitely not be allowed to play in this video because then it'll get taken down. So that was Robots, and I gotta say, I really liked it. There are some people that are probably nostalgic for this movie because they like the soundtrack and the characters and the jokes and stuff like that, but honestly, that is not the right way to perceive movies, okay? You should only watch movies because every piece of art has a political message to it, and clearly, this movie has a very pro-LGBT, anti-capitalist message to it. And if you don't see any of that, that's just because you're not intelligent like I am, okay? I went to college, and clearly, I know what I'm talking about when I analyze movies made for babbies. But that's just one person's opinion. What did you think, comedic sidekick? I thought it was okay. That's it? That's all you got? Yeah, it's fine. It's not perfect, but it's okay for a 2005 movie. Though I do gotta say, it is pretty funny that this and Teenage Robot were out around the same time, and both have main characters that are robots that are white and teal blue. Herm, whatever. You know what? Because of that statement, you're gonna get hashtag canceled next, buddy.
Ah!